So, can anyone tell me what the author might have meant in this paragraph? Alyssa. Okay. Well, not quite. Not quite. You're on the right track. All right.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing super well today. When I was first applying for jobs here in Korea over a year ago, one of the biggest things that I had trouble with deciding is if I should teach at a public school or if I should teach at a Hagwon. I'm gonna tell you what the big difference is. It's very much a pick your poison type of thing here when you want to decide what kind of school you want to work at in Korea. The differences are stark, they're dramatic, and they don't really need to be that way, but they are. Disclaimer, I haven't worked at a public school, but I know many people who have worked at public schools. The people who say that they came to Korea and they taught here and they traveled a lot and they went to like Thailand, blah, 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 while they're working here, they probably worked at a public school because that's the only way you can get enough vacation days to do any traveling. I've been here for about a year-ish. And I've literally only went to Japan, and that was because we had like a 4-day weekend and also because of coronavirus. But the vacation days are so much better in a public school. Another thing, stability. They enjoy more stability. If you have an issue, like you know that like there's like a system to back you up, like a government to back you up, which is especially helpful now during the COVID times where many schools are shutting down because of, you know, having to do online classes and just not being able to come to school. I've heard many stories where Hagwon owners, they don't pay their teachers their full salary. They end up closing their schools altogether because they can't like, you know, do in-person classes anymore. These are issues that public schools largely haven't had to deal with. They've been getting their salary from what I've heard, and all they've been having to do, I believe, is maybe teach from home, just maybe not having to teach at all and just getting paid. I've heard that there's quite a bit of desk warming at public schools, and desk warming to me, basically downtime that you have where you're not teaching a class, where I believe you can just prep, or people end up, I guess, starting blogs or some shit, starting a YouTube channel because they have so much time during the day. I've heard people working in public schools having 2 or 3 hours of free time during their day, and the other time they're just teaching classes, which that's a lot of free time, like in a work day. That's a lot of time, and you're getting paid for that. That's nice. Some people enjoy lax environment where they can teach and do other stuff that they want. For you, that might be good. For me, not so much. I don't really want to be sitting down like staring at a fucking wall all day. So I wanted to start talking about Hagwons, pros and cons of teaching at Hagwons. The freedom of choosing which city you want to work at. When you go for a public school route, usually it's determined by, I guess, the government or whoever the fuck decides whether or not you work at this school in this city, this school in that city. Many people in public schools end up working in like a rural area where there are not that many foreigners and the conditions just aren't as, let's just say they're not what you're seeing in the drama. But in Hagwons, you have more flexibility. You can see when you're applying for a job, you can see which city this school is. Like it's in Seoul, it's in Busan, it's in Suwon, it's in Hwaseong, blah, blah, blah. Many people prefer to go to Seoul or Busan. I did as well when I first started to apply, but that was quickly shot down because I wasn't getting no jobs in Seoul and Busan, bro. They wouldn't even look at me, bro. So as you can imagine, those areas are really, really competitive for Hagwons. And I believe if you're working in public school, just don't even expect that you'll go to Seoul or Busan. Just don't do it to yourself. But in private school, if you have good enough specs, and to be honest, if you're white and you're pretty, then you'll probably be able to go to a good school in Seoul or Busan if you want. But then again, I've heard people like, because of course they pay for you regardless of which route you go, they pay for your housing, I believe. Even if you get the city that you like, the apartment might not be that nice, but that really isn't a public school or a private school thing. That's just sort of like, whether or not you get screwed on housing, that's probably you will. The next big thing about Hagwons, there is no vacation days really. My school or most schools, they give you maybe like 10 days, maybe like a summer break or a winter break, maybe like, and of course holidays like Christmas, New Year's, Chuseok, stuff like that. But you are getting no days off, bro, basically. It's not like in the US. In the US, you're getting like PTO sometimes, you're getting sick days, and you're getting holidays. When I used to work in the US at Yelp, I got like maybe about a month off in total of time off I could take between sick days, PTO, and holidays. Here, 10 days, 11 days, 12 days maybe in a year. Because I will tell you, Hagwons, they are run by people who may not even necessarily be super interested in like what they're running their Hagwons in, but it's a business. It's a way for them to make money. So when you have so much, I guess, at stake, when you take out so much debt, it leaves a lot less room for caring about your employees' well-being, I should say. Like, many schools don't really factor in that like you would want to take a sick day off, or that you would like, the idea of a sick day just doesn't even like compute. Like, you just are sick and that's it. You come to work and you just take medicine, like that's it. And I knew this going in, don't get me wrong, I knew this going in. Last year, I think I got, okay, let's say maybe I got 14 days off, 15 days off including. Which is not so bad, but again, this is all these days off were because they were holidays and because of my Hagwons vacation. You can see how that can become a problem. For example, in 2021, many holidays fall on Saturdays to Sundays. So immediately off the bat, you're losing days off already. When those other days are up to the discretion of your workplace, like they decide that, oh, we'll give you guys summer vacation off, like we'll take the week off. Like that's their discretion. Like they make the day of when you guys take off. Some schools I heard that you can request a day off. It's perfectly fine. Like you can request a sick day off and it's perfectly fine. Like, but that's best case scenario. My school and many schools I've heard of, it's that like, if you need to take a day off for whatever reason, a sick day off, if for example, they had to go to a doctor, they had to get surgery done, or they had to go back to the US for a while, they had to pay another substitute teacher to come and teach their classes. So they're banking on the fact that like you hopefully won't get sick or nothing will come up outside of the holidays or vacation days that they give you. And because of that, don't expect to be like vacationing, jet setting the world or anything like that when you're working on Hagwon. Maybe you could work out on a weekend, a long weekend, but those are far and few between. Especially during COVID times, you ain't going anywhere. Probably you going up and down the country, like Busan maybe. Even Busan, like on a weekend, like that's not. Is that a big enough deal breaker for me to go to a public school? Probably not, because I do like where I am right now and I don't really want to get back into the mix of leaving things to chance and potentially getting to a school or apartment I don't like. But like literally don't underestimate that. Like that's a big thing. Like you need days off just to recover, just to like lay down in bed and do nothing. Two more things about Hagwons. One thing is that it's a business, so they need to cater to their customers, aka the parents, not the students. The parent. If the parents want something, if the parents are not super happy about how you're teaching a class, if the parents aren't super happy about their little kid not doing as well as they expect their kid to do, it's somehow your responsibility or the school's responsibility to fix that. And as you can imagine, that can lead to many like fucking like things where it's just like, bro, like, what do you want me to do about this right now? But like, don't be surprised if you're in situations where things don't make sense because a parent wanted something this way or your boss wanted something this way to, at the end of the day, sort of secure their bag, if you will. It will happen. It's very frustrating. Don't come to Hagwon thinking that like you're gonna be like a teacher from, what's that, like Stand By Me, whatever movie that was, some kind of like teacher that is gonna take a stand against your school. You're not gonna do it because this is someone's like money that you're talking about right now. You're not gonna rock the boat too much about it. I mean, not to say that you can't make an influence on your students. Of course you can. You can make an influence of your students. You can be a good teacher if you want, but don't expect education to be the most important thing to the school itself or even to the parents themselves, because you'd be surprised. Ego and politics is a thing and it's nasty. I personally don't care that much. At the end of the day, it's my job. I enjoy my students, so I don't care that much, but oh my God, my camera, overheated. Anyway, what I was saying was that it doesn't super bother me. I like my job generally on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, just to sum it up, public school, if you want vacation days, if you want stability above anything else, if you want maybe desk warming, if you don't really care about where you're going to teach at, public school is just a good choice. I won't even consider salary in it because as far as I'm concerned, salaries for both are like abysmal. But anyway, Hagwon if you want option in where you're going to teach. Hagwon if you want students who are generally more motivated. Oh, Hagwons if you want a curriculum that's already established. I forgot to mention that. Public schools, I think you might have to make up your own lesson plan, but Hagwons, at least mine, like they already have a curriculum that you just teach. Hagwons, if you are okay with things changing up on you suddenly. Hagwons, if you, most importantly for me, if you don't want to fucking find a letter of recommendation to go to a public school route and you don't want to do all that work, because low-key applying for public schools here is mad work, and I didn't want to, that was my biggest factor. I didn't want to do the letter of recommendation thing, so I didn't do public schools, so I came to Hagwon. So Hagwon, if you want generally less stress in the application process and a more kind of straightforward thing. Like Hagwons, you just talk to like 2 people before you interview and that's it, you're done and you get to come here. But yeah, this is the information that I thought would have been helpful when I was applying. If it has helped you, let me know down by, you can give me a like, throw me a subscribe. Let me in the comments what else you're curious about as far as working at a public school or a Hagwon goes. Let me know what kind of videos you're interested in seeing. And let me know your experiences. I'm like super curious as to how you guys are doing. Watch my old videos, see my apartment tour, see my vlogs, see my old video about teaching in COVID, during COVID times. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Bye bye. Have a good weekend, the rest of the night, afternoon, morning, whatever.